been sort of a quiet day at work, and I've been thinking and meditating, doing a bit of reading here at the end of my shift, and I just had this thought occur to me, not necessarily anything profound, but something that I needed a reminder of, and something that I hope would encourage any of you all who are listening. But when Paul wrote to the church in Corinth, he says that the message of the gospel is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to those who are being saved, it is the power of God unto salvation. That is to say that when we hear the gospel, we hear it and we hear that it's the power of God. It's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing. And so we are going to respond to these truths completely differently than unbelievers. Unbelievers will look at them and it is foolish. So to any of the unbelievers who may be watching this, I'm sure someone will stumble across it. The reason that the gospel is foolish to you is because you're dying. It's because you are on your way to eternal death. And so it is foolish to you. Your heart is stone. Your spirit is cold. It is dead. There is no life in you. And so the gospel is foolish to you. But to those who hear the gospel and there's power there and they see the beauty in it and it changes and transforms them, it is the power of God unto salvation. We love it. We appreciate it. But with that truth in mind, a thought occurred to me, and it was upsetting to me a bit. It's sort of a confession on my part. I guess going through nursing school and going through some different environments as of late, trying to work in the sort of HR environment, I've sort of fallen into the trap of like cleaning myself up, making myself more presentable. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with, like, obviously, at your job, you're being paid to work. So you don't jump on the table and start street preaching, and you don't spend company time when you have work to do proselytizing. They're not paying you for that. I'm not advocating for that. I understand the distinction here. However, there is a temptation for Christians. I feel like it's something that I'm wrestling with in our jobs, in our professional environments, where our faith becomes sort of a thing that we keep to the side. It's something that we so often don't want to bring up because you are trying to work in a professional field. You're trying to appear professional. But those who are ashamed of Christ, he will be ashamed of on the day of judgment. May it never be, God forbid, that we would never speak of Christ to the people who are unsaved around us, regardless of where they are. Obviously, being as wise as a serpent and as harmless as a dove, that we would use wisdom in every matter, in every conversation. It's not always the time when we're at work or if we're in a professional environment or in a classroom. It's not always the opportune time for that. But may it be at the front of our minds and not the back of our minds. May it be our forethought. May it be our prayer. May it be our goal and not just this thing that we set to the side and we'll get to it later. Now, at work, I find myself praying often. I find myself trying to pray against temptations and praying for holiness and just praying for people that I care about and that I love and just trying to keep my mind focused on the Lord throughout the day. But there are many times where I don't even consider this in conversation. I don't even imagine bringing it up. And though I do pray for those conversations and I pray for them to happen, there's so many times where I either don't think about it or I intentionally bite my tongue to my shame. And so I hope that this encourages you. It's going to be foolish. If they're not saved, it's going to be foolish, but it is the gospel that is the power to save. So the same thing that will cause people to call you a fool and to separate from you and push you away, even people that you love and care for and care about, friends and family and people that you're close acquaintances, even the thing that will cause them to despise you and push you away is the same thing that could save them if the Lord wills it. So may we be encouraged to speak boldly. Speak the truth and don't be ashamed. I hope that this encourages you. I've been extremely convicted today, just tossing this around, praying about it, meditating on these truths and sort of going through some scriptures. I'm just realizing that it's so easy to fall into this HR politically correct mindset where you're really trying not to offend people, and so you're always quiet. But we're not supposed to always be quiet. Speak up, speak out, speak loud. May we never be ashamed of our Lord. May we go out and live for Him boldly and proclaim and live our love for Him boldly. And in a way that we don't always have to be speaking, but in a way that everyone knows where we stand, and in a way that everyone knows what we believe, and that everyone knows where to go if they have questions and concerns. May we live our life in this way. Be encouraged, saints, and pray for me. God bless.